We are the Bears, shuffling crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad, we know we're good. Blowing your mind like we knew we would. You know we're just strutting for fun, strutting our stuff for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble. We're just here to do the Super Bowl show.
Well, they call me sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like making more mans. We had to go since training camp to give Chicago a Super Bowl champ. And we're not doing this because we're greedy. The Bears are doing it to feed the needy. We didn't come here to look for trouble. We just come here to do the Super Bowl show.
This is Speedy Willie, and I'm world class. I like running, but I love to get the pass. I practice all day and dance all night. I gotta get ready for the Sunday fight. Now, I'm as smooth as a chocolate swirl. I dance a little funky, so watch me, girl. There's no one here that does it like me. My Super Bowl shuffle will set you free.
I'm Samurai Mike, I stop 'em cold. Part of the defense, big and bold. I've been jamming for quite a while, doing what's right and setting the style. Give me a chance, I'll rock you good. Nobody messing in my neighborhood. I didn't come here looking for trouble. I just came to do the Super Bowl show.
We are the Bears, shuffling crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad, we know we're good. Blowing your mind like we knew we would. You know we're just strutting for fun.
Welcome, Bears fans, to Rabbit's Reality. You know what I'm saying? I've been a Bears fan since '84. You can't tell me too much. You know what I'm saying, dog? Been a Bears fan since this thing began. You know? Since we won the motherfucking 85 Super Bowl, you know? Now, starting off early as a Bears fan, my favorite players, Mike Singletary for sure. The intensity he used to have, man. I used to always try to mimic him in elementary when we played football in the backyard. I used to sniff out those sweeps, boy. I'd be in the backyard before they even knew it. And me in the backfield. Like, what? What y'all doing? Y'all serious? Give me that. Singletary out this joint. You know what I'm saying? That was my man, Mike Singletary. You had Mike Singletary, Jim McMahon, Matt Suey was my man too, yeah. You had of course Walter Payton, you know. And oh man, I used to be in love with these dudes, bro. Wilbur Marshall, you had Refrigerated Perry. Now these people was like, you would look at them like, Refrigerated Perry, but that man was athletic. He was real athletic for his size, bro. He was like that. He put him in the backfield and all that shit. Like that. You know what I'm saying? Will Marshall would knock your ass completely the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Did not play. Cold beast. So back then, I just think, when I first started loving the Bears, Walter Payton, you know what I'm saying? All these players was my players and shit. Over the years, I suffered through all these quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying? After Jim McMahon, it was a long ride, you know what I'm saying? Tom Zacks, and you know what I'm saying? We even had Cornell Stewart at one time, you know what I'm saying? So we had a carousel of where the general manager was always trying to get somebody retreads to do shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like Poles. Because Poles, the general manager of Chicago, he doing things like different way I've never seen before. Where he not reaching for all these players that's already been playing in the league, giving these big contracts, bringing them in and all that shit. Yeah. It's just like he building of a team. He's just building a team. You know what I'm saying? Might get some veterans here and there. But overall, it's going to be rookies and people to get out of draft that's going to be on our team. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I just feel like being a Bears fan is right now in history is just like everything is happening that never happened before. You know what I'm saying? I think right now, every Bears fan will run to the motherfucking bus stop and get Poles right now, just like the owner did. We'll do that too at this point. You know what I'm saying, dog? So I just feel like they're doing a good ass job. Montgomery, I'm mad he gone, but hey, he chose to leave. Now you're not a Bear no more. Fuck you. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying, Doc? Should stayed on the squad, the real squad of the league. You know what I'm saying, Doc? What's wrong with these niggas, man? I can't believe Montgomery just rolled out and took. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing, bro? What type shit is that? Now, Hogan Johns, one of I like podcasts I like in the Chicago Bears atmosphere. They interview the coach of the Chicago Bears. We're gonna tap into that. I want to talk about that a little bit because I really like the coach here, man. He real precise on what he want. You know what I'm saying? That first year, I think they did good for that first year. For him to have a lot of players that he didn't want, that don't fit what he want in certain spots, it's just like he did good.
23 and 17, so they keep me informed of the stuff that's out there, but pretty funny.
Well, I'm gonna have to get some workout tips or something because, I mean, it's working. I can put some muscle on these arms.
It's mass.
Yeah.
That's right. They have these things called mesomorphs and ectomorphs, and I'm not sure which one you are, but
Yeah.
The skinnier
those.
one. Well, again, thanks for jumping on with us. I've been very fascinated just from like the last couple weeks of talking, whether it's to you this morning or with Ryan a couple times as you guys have added players, just how involved you not only you are, but it sounds like your coaching staff.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a lot of that, and Ryan talked about this yesterday with us, just your background in recruiting. Like he sees that scouting ability in you and trusts your opinion to that level. That and so where does that come from?
No, it's just the years of experience that I had, 18 years in college coaching, and traveling, to high schools and visiting with the high school coaches, and then going to, back in the day they used to have these combines, these regional combines where you'd see these players. And I remember one time when I was in Beaumont, Texas, and they had this regional combine, and I was watching this guy from Jasper, Texas, and I kept watching him and seeing his movement skills. And I went over to the coach the next day, and it was Sean Witherspoon. And he's was played for us at Missouri, and obviously had a great pro career in Atlanta. But I saw that skill set there at that regional combine that they had back then, and that was at Beaumont High School. But I love doing that. That's why I enjoy going to the pro days. That's so enjoyable for me because we get to look at the movement skills of the athlete, be it offensive line, defensive back, receiver, whatever it might be, and getting a chance to do that. And then really visiting with Ryan afterward and comparing our notes and what do we see, what do we think about the athlete, and how's he fit into our vision for our football team.
Do you have like favorite drills you like?
I really like Eberflus because he know exactly players he want, man. It's just like I really like that.
See, you mentioned movement skills. Like,
Yeah.
what do you specifically?
And another thing, like all the other coaches in the league, they don't really have no background of critiquing players and picking right players and put them in his right spots and shit. So that's a plus for this coach. When we look back on this, right, it's like as a Bears fan, when you look at the owner when he ran down somewhere and court pose at the bus stop or some shit, you would really do that now. I would actually do that now. Like if Pose was to leave right now and start going to Minnesota, I would run down there and catch him at the bus stop. Like, oh, bro, where you going? Go back over here and do this Bears thing. And then the fact that he picked Eberflus, if right now if Eberflus, hey, you know what? I quit. I'm gonna go walk away. I mean, oh, Eberflus, where you going? Come do this thing. I actually like these two people. You know what I'm saying? It's just I never liked the coach and GM. I never paid attention to GMs too much because I don't really give a fuck about that shit. I really pay attention to the team. Once the season starts, the last game of the preseason, that's when I'm focusing on the squad. I don't care what the GM done and all that shit. Show me the team you finish with. You know what I'm saying?
Looking for, and I guess how has that changed from now or to go back in time to when you were looking at college recruits?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you have put the guys in position-specific drills, that's always very important. But you can see the athlete. They've adjusted and changed the ones that the combine, which I think is good to some degree. But you can certainly see it in space. with the space players, and then you see these linemen, the ability for them to have balance. They have flexion in their lowers to be able to maintain that balance when it gets off a little bit, and you can see that during those pro days and during the combine drills.
You mentioned Witherspoon. Are at the pro level, are there any guys that you remember as a coach just banging on the table, being like, I really like this draft prospect coming out that really worked out for you guys?
Shaq Leonard is a guy that we did a lot of work on with the guys in Indy, and it certainly took some time for us to get there because when a guy comes from a smaller school, you have to look at different tape, and we certainly looked at the tape when he played Clemson and made a lot of tackles, and had a heck of a game. So that certainly showed he could play up at this level, and but we did our work on him, and he's an outstanding young man, and of course he's a fierce competitor, and he's going to have a great comeback here this year.
What are your favorite pro day stops? Like, is there a certain town or school you like visiting again? Is it Alabama, seeing Nick Saban again?
Yeah, that's very enjoyable for me because of my relationship with Coach Saban. Got a chance to speak with him on the field there for about 10 minutes, and I certainly enjoy that because I don't get a chance to meet with him in person as much as I would like. But I certainly enjoyed our time. And you really, at the pro days, you really just glean one more inch of information. If you're talking to the head coach or the defensive coordinator, or if you're just really just watching the guy, the way he moves, the way he catches, you just might glean one more inch of information that helps you say yes, helps you say no, or just table it till just keep on working on that particular prospect.
What do you remember about playing for Saban? And is there anything from that experience that really sticks out to you now as you're coaching younger players?
Yeah. So, I was only with him 1 year as he came in there as his first year as a head coach. And, we won the championship. And just the way he set the standards of how we practice, how we are focused in meetings, how we finish plays. And those are the inches that matter in the game of football. It's always a game of inches. Well, those inches are that you get those inches in practice, in your standardization of the way you finish plays, the way you hustle, and the way you focus during that, because it's all in the preparation, right? So how you prepare is how you're going to play. We have all said that, but that's true. And you got to be mindful of that as a coach. And that's what Coach Saban taught me in that short time period with him, just by me observing him and being in that system.
So that sounds so familiar to other coaches then that you went on and worked with. I mean, you've talked a lot about Rod Marinelli, your relationship with Lovie Smith. Is that just sort of how it works? Like certain coaches sort of philosophically fall in line with coaches that believe the same things?
Yeah, no doubt. And I was fortunate, and I said this before that, at Kent State, back when Don James was there was 3 coaches on that team when they won the MAC championship. It was Coach Saban, my head high school coach, Pat Cacciardo. They were defensive backs, and a tight end on that team was Gary Pinkel, who just got into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And I had, was fortunate to be able to work for or play for all 3 of those guys. And what they have, all 3 of them have the same attribute, and that's attention to detail. And they have an intensity and a focus about them that's unparalleled. So to me, that's what you're always trying to. I've always said this, that I had great examples to go by watching those guys, either through coaching for them or playing for them. And I was fortunate that way.
Do you have a favorite Nick Saban story, one that you like to share that maybe embodies your memory or who he was as a coach?
Yeah. We were at winter conditioning, and we would start certain drill. We had 16 stations of winter conditioning, and he would go through. And if you didn't run from one drill to the next when the horn blew, somebody was jogging or straggling behind, he blew a double horn. That means you had to go back to your original station and blow the horn again and make sure you ran to the next station. So that was always about hustle. It was always about pushing the player past where he couldn't take himself, and really working on his mental and physical stamina. And that's what he created in that environment.
I'm interested because obviously Saban and Belichick are close. They've become close over the years.
That right there, I like that right there. People don't really pay attention to that too much. It's just like you're pushing the person past their limit of where they were going their own. You know what I'm saying? It's like you showing them that their body can do more than what you thinking they could do. You know what I'm saying? It pushed them to that limit. And that will make good players. And that's why he feel like he don't need superstars on the team. He can pull the juice and then squeeze the juices out of average to good players and get that type of quality out of them. That's his point of that, pushing them to the limit. I agree with that too.
They've even done some interviews together and some fun shows that are like really interesting just to watch them get together with their brilliant football minds. It definitely caught my attention this season when you guys went into New England and won that game. That Belichick not only things he said during the week leading up to the game, because he does that a lot. He talks up to a lot the team, but like it really seemed like you guys had a moment at the end of that game that there was a very obvious level of respect there. Did you feel that way? And what is your relationship like with him?
That what I felt after the game was obviously respect and admiration for Coach Belichick. Because of all the accomplishments that he's had during the course of his career and the example he sets, for playing clean, sound football, and all the championship teams that he's coached. And so that was just from my perspective. And we just really shared at the end, hey, it was a hard fought game. He really was complimentary of the way we're doing our business, the way our team played that night. And, so you can't say enough good things about Coach Belichick.
In terms of finding those inches where maybe players or prospects start to differentiate themselves, how do you think the putt-putt and the darts went with players now that you look back on it?
Yeah, that's just really a way to put players at ease, ease their mind coming into it, take their mind off of, hey, I got to answer a bunch of questions. I'm going to get grilled during this video session. And it's really for them just to sit back and, hey, this is a fun moment for them. There's only going to be so many times one time they come to the combine, we're only going to interview them that way and one time in that setting. So we thought it worked really well. And, the players commented on it. You heard them talk about it. And I thought it's a good strategy.
Did they all learn that you're very good at golf as well?
Well, because I'm the head coach, I have the way to delegate things. So I was not always putting. Ian Cunningham did hit a bomb putt one time. So we have some good golfers on our staff. So it was pretty good. A couple of good dart throwers. Getsy's a heck of a dart thrower. Everybody from Pittsburgh can throw a dart. So it's just the way it is.
Did the golf games suffer at all? Being a first-year head coach, and is it recovering at all, or did you still manage to keep that up?
It's still suffering. It was good when I was a linebacker coach, but then when I became a coordinator, it went down a little bit.
I really like this coach, man. I like the Bears coach. I like the direction they're going for real. The draft, the picks they pick up, you know what I'm saying? I really like those joints, man. I really like the direction we're going in. I've been liking these Bears for so long, man, since '84. So I really like the direction they going. I like it's just some of these podcasts that be out there, man. I can't take it, man. They always dwell on some bullshit. They still trying to figure out. They still have these questions. Is Justin Fields the guy? Is he proving something? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, that shit is over. We trying to build a team around him now. That shit over. You know what I'm saying? He not no motherfucking what the quarterback for Jets. These niggas picked up a quarterback, don't even talk about him no more. They try and get motherfucking. They picked him up the same year that Justin Fields come out, and they don't even want to talk about him no more. Wilson, whatever the fuck his name was, he done. San Francisco picked up a quarterback the same year Justin Fields come out. Don't nobody talk about him no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, come on, bro. You still want to try to figure out. That's what's going on with Jackson and fucking Baltimore. Niggas trying to still figure out, is you going to be our franchise quarterback or not? Like, really? MVP later? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, what the fuck a nigga had to do on the field for you just give me my fucking contract, bro? This shit is irritating, yeah? How they doing, my man? Let's tap back in here.
The opposition. What did you think about this defensive player? We'll ask our offensive staff and vice versa with the defensive staff, because those are the guys that have to go against them. What's special about this player? Is he really a handful? Is he a guy you have to circle? So we always do that, and I think that's really important to do.
How does that apply to maybe DJ Moore? Like when he comes up in those trade conversations, like how does he tilt the field from your defensive perspective?
Yeah, so when you have the more weapons you have on offense and the more skill sets you have, it's just harder to defend. Just in general, and then certainly in situational football. It really is hard to defend, and DJ is one of those guys. And I think when you have a guy over there, it's harder to defend a Tunyon or a Cole, or if you have the receivers all over here and the tight end opposite, that creates a big mismatch for the defense.
Tanya's another local kid.
Yep.
And Ryan mentioned this yesterday that he believes there's something to that. Do you guys share that same philosophy that playing for your hometown team can bring a little bit extra passion? I forget how he exactly put it, but he said there's something to that.
You can feel that, with Tanya, Bobby came in, and then TJ came in, and certainly when Sanborn was, we're doing through the draft process last year, you can feel the energy and the love for the Bears, just because from this high, they were like monsters of the Midway, and that was a big deal to them, and you can certainly feel that passion. I think it's a good thing. If they're a good player and they're a homegrown guy, and I say, yeah, let's bring them in. If they fit, let's do it.
How excited was the linebackers coach in you to see Tremaine Edmonds available, to see TJ Edwards available, but then not to see them be available, but then to go after them, successfully sign them? Like, take us through your feelings on that.
Yeah. So you go through the process, through free agency, and we watch all the tape, and we stack them up, and obviously those guys are at the top of our board. And it's a rare occasion that you can get the top of your board, in free agency. But we were in position, this year, and I talked about it, last night, that it's really cool because we had all this money available to us in free agency the second year, meaning that, we were able to be with each other for a year, meaning the scouting staff and the coaching staff and really all of our staff, of what we want our players to look like, from, mind, body, and spirit. What do we want a Chicago Bear to be? And we certainly have a good core group of young guys that we already have on our team that have that spirit. But to be able to acquire these 11 players, either through trade or through, free agency so far, it's been really cool because we're more in line now than we were a year ago at this time.
You've mentioned mind, body, spirit before. Which of those three is the hardest to figure out before a player actually gets into your building?
Yeah, I think, every person's, different, which we welcome that. We want people to be themselves. We want them to bring their energy that they bring. And it's our job as coaches, when we evaluate a player, if we're going to bring them in, to get a feel for all three of those aspects. And so I think it's just really about reading the player, talking to them. And when you build a relationship with them, you can kind of feel that over time. And then as a coach, the creativity as a coach is to be able to maximize that player's ability through those three avenues to get the product on the field to look the best that it can. And I think you really have to work with the player in all three aspects to be able to get that done.
You look for spirit on tape. Like, what?
I really think, I don't know, at the end, see, his system on defense has won championships, right? And the system on offense has won championships. So what they have to do is get the players. Now, him, by being in this system so long, he knows exact players he want on defense. That's probably why they didn't fire the defensive coordinator, because he didn't have those players. Now, if he get all his players in certain spots that he want, and he still fuck up, then we're gonna have a problem. Then we run into some bullshit. Now you're doing too much, bro. Now I'm about to fire you because I gave you the players. Now you're just not calling the right plays. That's different. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why the defensive coordinator made it through this season. But to me, they pick up some players. They pick up 11 players, and like he said, I think pick up 11 players. I don't know. The draft, you got 10 picks. It's like that's 21 new people coming in this joint. Yeah? So that's a lot of people, and 10 of them are people you drafted, so they're gonna be on the roster. And then these 11 people that you sign gonna be on the roster. So that's tough. Let's see what's going on here.
Thanks for having me.
So you are now going to be Bears president for the day. You are going to be in Arizona. You're going to stay away from the tennis courts, stay off the golf course, and you're going to answer questions from the assembled media. So if you are Bears president for a day, if you are Kevin Warren, and somebody says to you, okay, Kevin,
Oh, you gonna
okay,
ask this
Carm,
fool?
which is more challenging? Building a stadium in Arlington Heights, moving there, building a stadium capable of hosting a Super Bowl, or building a roster good enough to win one?
I mean, first of all, I appreciate.
Hold up. First of all, this stadium shit is about the least as my. I don't. Nobody give a fuck about the stadium thing, bro. Be honest with you. 9 times out of 10, 90% of the people will be watching shit on TV, and you literally don't see the whole stadium on TV. You're looking at a box on a fucking field. Nobody cares about some fucking soda pops that's in the corner on top of some lights, strobe lights. Nobody care. You know what I'm saying? We don't see none of that. Nobody care about that shit. Any luxury you put on in a football stadium, nobody gives a fuck. We're watching shit on TV any fucking way. The fuck wrong with you?
The promotion. Second of all,
I just don't think you gotta have that much emphasis. First of all, I don't need no football field with a roof on it. First of all, they want to do shit like Minnesota. You see Minnesota field where you got fucking shadows every fucking way? Come on, man. Nobody want that shit. If you're gonna have a football field, have a roof that just comes the fuck off, comes open, and that's it. Ain't no windows and shit. Come on, man.
I
It's the
think
Bears.
the answer is obvious. Look what I already did in Minnesota. There's no problem. I'm going to do this here. By the way, I'm open for business, Chicago, whoever the new mayor is. I like to do things behind the scenes. We could build something sweet right where it's at here, and we can get a little creative. But yes, I think the stadium can be done with no problem. The roster construction, winning Super Bowls, there's a lot more that goes into that.
Which do you think is the highest priority for Kevin Warren in all seriousness this offseason? Because I think that doesn't he have
Why
to
is he
balance,
asking him this
because
shit?
Ryan Poles can use his direction, can benefit from his wisdom, but there's a stadium project to lead. Doesn't he have to put that at the forefront of his priority list?
I mean, I think that's why Kevin is here, is his history and his ability to get that done. So working whatever political factions he needs to work to make this go as smoothly as possible, giving the Bears a very clear direction on how they're going to do that. That's his focus. And hey, yes, I am over here, Ryan, if you want to ask me questions, but I'm going to leave that to you. You want to make trades, you want to go down to 9, you want to move down again, that's your business. You can run it by me. I'll give you my opinion, but yeah, I'm going to be focusing on the business side.
Do you think that George McCaskey or Kevin Warren will be asked this week in Arizona if they are likely to sell the team in the next 10 years?
Don't care.
Ask that.
Don't nobody care, bro. Focus about the players on the team, on the field.
Around there, the when
Fuck
Virginia
around. By the time you
moves
open the
along
fucking
and
field,
hopefully it's a long time from now that they would consider it.
man,
I can't
JF1
imagine
wouldn't even
that
be
that's
on the
going to be any
team,
real
man. He'd be
focus right now. I
fucking
think the Bears are in the
retiring.
best spot
Nobody
they've been
care
in a
about that
long,
shit,
long,
bro.
long time.
Okay, let's get to football,
that shit.
President Carm.
Thank you.
What was your general manager doing, trading the pick when he did? Didn't he jump the gun a little bit? Okay, that's one side of it.
Yeah.
The other side of it is, boy, your general manager showed great foresight and prescience by being able to get ahead of this and make the deal before the Panthers started to overthink it. So which is it, President Carm?
So I am an owner. I am a president who empowers the people below me, and I believe and I trust exactly what you're doing, Ryan Poles. You thought this was a great deal. You wanted DJ Moore. You went out and got him. You've got the number 9 pick. There's tons of offensive linemen that should be sitting there, or you can go other side of the ball. I am good with what you're doing, even if you want to trade down again, which is now the second time we mentioned that.
So as delegator in chief, do you think they will trade down again? Would you recommend your young general manager in only overseeing his second draft? Do you think that he will trade down from 9 to put himself in a position to what? Draft another wide receiver?
Well, no, see, that's the beauty of my GM, is that I don't try to box him in. I think he's capable of doing anything. And I do think that we have a significant need on the offensive line. Not that I know which way he's going to go. I do think he's going to take the best player on the board, because that's the philosophy we have here at the
Why
Bears.
would you do that, President Carm? Why would you take the best player on the board if the best player is a wide receiver, if the best player is a running back you don't need? What don't you,
You don't
an
need-
offensive tackle?
Because, David,
They're the
did
best
you see
player.
how many games we won last year? In case you forgot, it was 3. We were the worst team in football. We've got needs all over the field. We could use the
But
best.
President Carm, that was by design.
Yeah, that's correct. It was that by design, and we're going to build it by design, brick by brick, going back the other way, all the way to the top. And if he thinks that it's a corner or a running back over an offensive line, we'll figure that out down the
Okay,
line.
brick by brick, I don't know if you noticed, President Carm, they built a shrine practically to Justin Fields this year because there's a lot of excitement in town about his potential. He has been assured he is the guy. How good can he be? His head coach thinks the sky is the limit. He told the NFL Network that Fields exudes all of the traits of a successful quarterback: grit, toughness, work ethic, and he is beloved by teammates. Of course he's beloved by teammates. He can run faster than anybody. He's in miles per hour, not yards per carry.
So I like to look at the NFL right now, and I look to see a guy like Jalen Hurts, who was in the Super Bowl. I think about the MVP race. I think about the conversation that was around him last year, and I think about if you put him versus Justin Fields and you take their talent, I think Fields is above. So as president, as owner, and knowing the people that I have around me, I have no doubt that they're going to put Justin Fields in the position to be his best self, and that could be very much at the top of the NFC.
You mentioned Jalen Hurts. You know what they did with Jalen Hurts? They gave him an offensive line. They played complementary football with a killer defense, and he took the next step. How are you going to do that? And if you do, can Justin Fields be the best quarterback in the NFC?
Have you not
Best
seen
quarterback
what our
in
wide
NFC.
receiver room looks like David Hall right now? Have you run the numbers of Chase Claypool at his best, with Darnell Mooney at his best, DJ Moore at his best?
Are you suggesting I'm not doing my homework? Because all I saw from Chase Claypool was a second half of unfulfilled potential.
I don't want to be the George McCaskey that did that whole thing like that's the best question you ever asked, but I am just reminding you that when you look at the numbers and you project where the Bears could be in that wide receiver room, it could be top 5 in the NFL. And so we are doing stuff to help Justin.
You're not in Minneapolis anymore. You're in Chicago. And people in Chicago will tell you, you know what? If Mike Tomlin gave up on somebody, what makes the Bears think that they can get the best out of him? And he gave up on Chase Claypool.
How many picks do we have in the top 64?
4.
That's right, 4 of them. There's a lot of wide receivers in there. I don't think we're set.
President Carm, I know
Yeah.
you're behind on things. You're delegating everything. How many do you have in the top 50? Uno.
Yes,
1.
That's what's today? I believe today is March the 27th. When's the draft? We got a month, baby.
So
You
you're saying
know?
you're trading down again.
I'm saying that we could be trading down, we could be trading up, we could be packaging some of our picks in the 60s to move back on up if we want to do that. That's what
With 4 guys in your
Yeah.
top 64,
Mhm.
you need an offensive tackle. You need a defensive tackle. If you are going to take the top player on the board, let's say hypothetically, President Carm,
Yeah.
you were at number 9.
Uh-huh.
Jalen Carter and all his baggage.
No.
Why no immediately? Jalen Carter
No.
might be the number 1 player on many draft boards, the most
So
talented
what?
guy. He's there, and so is one of your 3 offensive tackles that could plug and play from week 1. Which way are you
Tackle.
leaning? What are you recommending?
Well, so I don't want to overstep my bounds here, but we do believe in the hits principle here at the Chicago Bears, and we do believe in first-class characters.
That's
and when I
his
look at
principles
Jalen
for
Carter
sure.
being in a tragic situation where he did not cop to, I was a young man once too, David. But you have to admit to your faults, and the way this whole thing came out does not sit well with me. Plus the fact that he just showed up for his pro day and looked in worse shape than you.
It was
No
one day,
disrespect.
he's 22.
Yeah.
It's one day and he's 22. Don't you think that by the draft, if you bring him in, and what about this culture you claim to have created at Hallis Hall, which is conducive to maturing on schedule as a professional? What about wrapping your arms around somebody who could be the next Warren Sapp?
Right. So I do appreciate the fact that you're buying into our culture, but there are a lot of good players at 9. Jalen Carter could be outstanding, but I think there's a lot of outstanding guys. Have you noticed the guy from Ohio State, Paris Johnson Jr., who not only speaks Mandarin, who's not only giving back to the community, who's also 6'6" and 340 pounds that can move? I like that guy.
Speaking Mandarin helps you protect the quarterback.
Listen,
I mean,
I
it's
like-
your
I
playbook's
like-
not that complicated.
I like somebody on my roster who can do a variety of things. I like a guy who's going to be first class in the community and first class on the field. You're talking about character issues with Jalen Carter. I'm elevating
Last thing,
Paris Johnson.
and keep it brief,
Yes.
President.
Yeah.
When will the HITS principle, HITS, lead to WINS?
Well, look, I think we're going to take a major step forward this year. I don't know how far, but I'm certainly not going to put any limitations on it. And I do believe that in the next couple of years, you'll be looking at me with a big smile on my face and what we've accomplished here with the Bears.
Your term is up. And
Thank you.
you're not going to be reelected. But nice job, Mark Carman.
One thing about the motherfuckers that I don't like, I like Carmen, but I don't like that other dude that was talking. He always talking bullshit. To me, I think most of the motherfuckers just talk just to be opposite, just to be different or some shit, because they just be all over the place, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, we got the 9th pick, and like he was saying, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm gonna do a mock draft right now. I'm thinking Pose is gonna pick an offensive lineman. I don't want Braxton Jones to move from the left. There's no need to do that. Let that man keep training and growing into a left tackle. You got to get somebody in this bitch that do right tackles. Now, main man for Ohio State, cool, Purse Jr., but he only played left tackle 1 year. He played right tackle 1 year. He played guard. So what is he? You see what I'm saying? It's like, but he got 36, 37-inch wingspan. So I don't know, player. I don't know. He a tough one because he play all positions. Normally, you might well just bring him in a right tackle and just let him start from scratch. But then you're gonna need somebody, a veteran or something, to put in there until you get him right. And I hope that ain't Bourne. Good God Almighty, Bourne. All the terrible linemen that was on our team, I hope they gone. Bourne, Mustafa, whatever the fuck his name is. These people are terrible. They got to go. You know what I'm saying? I remember he drafted like 4 linemen last year. I think 3 of them still on the team. So he drafted a center. We got to get to see how he is. We still got Lucas Patrick, and he a motherfucking center. They talking about moving Whitehead to center. So there you have it. You know what I'm saying? That's a strong interior though. You feel me? So that's a good starting 5. You leave Braxton Jones where the fuck he at, because I don't know why everybody want to keep moving him and shit. Like, that's the only thing y'all know how to do is move Braxton Jones and shit. Like, y'all got to think of something else. God damn. You know? And then the fact that the 9th pick, everybody thinking might be Bijan Robinson. I wouldn't mind it. In fact, since Montgomery gone, I wouldn't care. But to pick a running back that early, that's not Walter Payton, I don't know, bro. He run a 4.54. Nah, I don't know about that one. That's a tough one. You know what I'm saying? But he nice though. He nice as shit. But I just don't know how he'll translate. He do a whole lot of jump. It's like he trying his best to be like Barry Sanders to me. You know what I'm saying? Barry Sanders was just a natural, just getting the fuck out the way type ass nigga. You know, so I don't know. He'd be shaky. I need somebody that run a little more seriously, you know, more decisive. You know, he not decisive. He doing a lot of jumping around and shit. So I don't know if he'll work. They ain't not fast, so I don't know. You know, I don't know about that. But Pose, appreciate you a whole lot. Appreciate Pose for being a general manager. I love the way he doing everything. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody that jumped in today to this live stream and be coming in a whole lot. The season coming up, free agent over with. We coming up with the draft. I'm in here, baby. I'm gonna have my peeps coming in with me from time to time. We're gonna talk to some NFL shit. I'm getting this thing cooking. You know what I'm saying? Rabbit's Reality. Chicago Bears. You know what I'm saying? So check me out. I will pop in here another night off the late night on your ass. I'm thinking our record will at least be 8 and something. We ain't losing less than 8 for real, for real. And I don't want to hear nobody else talking about this. The proof year for JF1. Stop playing. Yeah. He proved it last year. I seen more than enough I needed to see. He better than some fucking out Andy Dalton, who nigga paid fucking I don't know how much money to come in here and be a fucking disaster. Foes, all these fools, man.